Moon. Check it. Third Phase of Moon. Blake Cousins, we're live, taking calls from around the world. It's time, Friday night. The call-in number is 347-934-0378. It's time to share your UFO sightings now. So let's get to it. We've got an abductee. He's a return caller. He says that he and his dad's been aboard a craft, and that's quite amazing. We always love knowing what it's like to be aboard an extraterrestrial craft and visit with the extraterrestrials. That's what we're looking for, and we're going to be getting them to them real soon. But before we do that, let's bring in some callers, see if we have more abductees and maybe more UFO sightings. We're live, Third Phase of Moon, and that's going to be an exciting night. 727, you're live, Third Phase of Moon. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Blake. Love your show, man. Listen to you every time you're on. You're the man
Nice.
right now.
Hey, thanks, man. What's up? Have you...
Listen, Blake, I want to open up your show with some controversy here, okay?
Sure,
now,
let's get to it.
It's a controversy that's stewing in the background of conspiracies. It's become like, the elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. But I really feel like within the past year, just even in my personal research, and I'm just a normal person, I'm just going to, come right out and say it, like, the flat earth concept, man, it's really growing on me. And listen, I don't know where your show is probably the best place for people that have open minds and open hearts and open spirits to open up and talk about life and reality and what is really going on. Now, what I'm leading to is I work for roadside assistance, so whenever people break down, I go help them out. I do the dispatching, all right? And what I'm leading to is I use Google Maps all day, okay? And with Google Maps, they give you pretty much a representation of what we see as the planet, and then, of course, they map it out with the roads. Now, I found just recently it's almost like an inconsistency with what is reality to what they want us to believe, all right? Because, and it's just recently been updated as well, so I can no longer get into it. But I got a video of what I'm describing to you, which I feel like I don't want to say I believe in flat earth, but I believe in that type of a concept already, because I was using my Google Maps and there was almost like a slight delay in it, so it was loading. And I realized that the way that they were mapping out the terrain of the earth, the ball earth, supposedly, it did not make sense because I was in one city, okay, and the system had glitched, so you could pretty much see through Google Maps and it would represent another city that you'd be able to reach if it was a ball. It didn't make sense. And it's kind of confusing when I describe it over the phone. You'd have to see it. I have a video that I really want you to see so you can kind of get a grasp of how I'm trying to describe it to you. But it proves that there's no physical way that we live on any type of a globe. It's not rational. They say that we are spinning on a ball, but water always levels out. There's no way our oceans would be consistent the way that they are. And the icing on the cake, and Blake, I would love if one day you took the time to go get into what you could say like a special into this topic, but there's no such thing as the South Pole. I already in my heart believe that Antarctica and the whole concept of getting to the edge of the earth with, an airplane and stuff, it's not true. If you see the UN map, if you see the logo for the UN, it represents what the type of plane we actually live in. And if you look flights from South America to Australia, they would more than likely pass over Antarctica. There's no point why they wouldn't. What the temperature? There's no way that if there was a real ball Earth, there would be some type of flights that would at least traverse around or near Antarctica, and there isn't. You cannot book a flight that flies over Antarctica. And, you got to look it up, man. You got to look at Project High Jump with Admiral Byrd. He discovered this years ago, and that's when everything begun, I believe. The Nazis were the ones that kind of cracked the egg and were like, look, this is what, I'm not a Nazi supporter, you know what I'm saying, but they're scientists. They were working on a whole nother level of trying to understand human existence, and they realized, look, we can't escape this planet. Or I don't even want to use the planet anymore. I like to say it as the plane of Earth, because I'm almost positive that where we live in is one level. It has an edge. It has a border, and we can probably get past it. But as a civilian, even military, no one is ever going to be allowed to privately fly limitlessly south. I want that experiment to be put on TV.
Sure.
I want someone with a private jet, private helicopter, the capabilities, a millionaire, whatever, take a plane and fly south till, guess what? You're going to get to ice. You're going to get to the weather that's unbearable, because it's designed to be impassable. It's not human design. It's whoever our creator is. If you're religious, it was God. If Allah, whatever. But whoever designed it knew that eventually we would want to go out there, and we can't. And then the governments realized, look, one day we're going to get to the point where all these people are going to wonder, why can't we travel to Antarctica? And there's a huge conspiracy. Blake, I want you to look it up. You're a professional at this. I want you to try to book a trip to Antarctica. And you know what you're going to find? You're going to find all this fake propaganda bullcrap. Yeah, you'll spend $100,000 or whatever it costs to go on a boat, to go to a place that looks like, okay, all right, it's Antarctica. I believe it. Let's go home. But it's not. It's not the truth. And I know, I even feel like in the Bible, it's so confusing nowadays because everybody wants to be religious or anti-religious.
It can be quite confusing. It can be. And religion and what you believe in can overwhelm your perception. But my thoughts on the flat earth are still on the fence. And I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. Let me tell you, flat earth believers out there have been coming out in droves over the past year and a half. And I thought it was dispelled, centuries ago that the earth was round, but now all of a sudden, why are these believers coming out and saying, we got to rethink this? And when we're putting up these NASA videos, people are just putting in comments, oh, it can't be real. This is on a soundstage or in a water tank, and all of NASA's footage in space is not the real deal. You know what we're going to do is we're going to get to callers, and then we're going to maybe I'll ask some questions if you're a flat earth believer or not, and maybe we'll get that caller back on because he opened it up. He said it's going to be controversial, people, and that's just, those are people's opinions, and let me tell you, that caller's opinion, he's not alone on that one. So we're gonna be asking questions of that to the public. That might be a subject that we might want to follow up on. We'll do our research. We'll do the research. Let's get that video. I want to see that video that you captured. Contact us on our on our YouTube About page. Our email address is there. All you have to do is upload your video to YouTube, copy paste that link to my email, and we'll get it. So send that video out right away. Moving on to 347. Let's go. 347, you're live. Third Phase of Moon.
Hey, Brother Cousins.
Yep. You're
How you doing?
Talking to. Doing good. What's your name?
Okay, I'm RC from the Bronx.
Hey, RC, welcome to the show.
Well,
you got
thank
a
you
UFO
so much.
sighting
It's
you
my
want
first
to share?
time. Yes, I want to share 2 points. One of my early experiences and a point I want to make. Okay, sir?
Sure. One thing, do you believe in the flat Earth theory?
I don't. I don't believe in the flat Earth theory. Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. My first experience with UFOs. I live in the Bronx. I lived in the projects in the Bronx. One weekend I stood over my godparents' apartment. I'm sorry, on the 12th floor. I was looking out the window. There was a UFO. Back in it was between '84 and '86.
What did it look like? What did it look like?
Huh?
What did the UFO appear to be?
It looked like a cigar shape, but it was probably like cylindrical. It had a lot of colors on it. It was gray, but with a lot of colors.
How big do you think it was? Large was this craft, this cigar-shaped craft?
It was about 500 yards away from me, so I would say probably about 100 feet.
Well, that's pretty big.
Yeah, it was, and it was very close. And at that time, there was a lot of blimps and small planes flying around here. So, but I knew that it was like a UFO. Since I was young, I contacted my godparents and my godsisters to see that, to tell me what it was. They pushed me away, and they were just mesmerized. Next thing I know, I wound up behind the curtains in a bathtub, and they were looking for me.
So, do you mean you just teleported from one place to another?
For me, I swear I did. It was amazing. It was amazing. I don't recall my experience inside the ship, but for me, it was like they pushed me away since they were older than me. There was my godparents and my godsisters. They pushed me away to look at this ship, and next thing I know, I was, like I said, behind the curtains in the bathtub. And it was, to me, it was just,
wow.
It was, that was, yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. I'm just trying to figure out what your thought was and what was your demeanor when you were around your friends and family. Within seconds of being behind the curtain there, all of a sudden you're one place, now you're another. How did you react afterwards? Did anybody think you're acting kind of strange?
Well,
was there missing time?
I don't know if there was missed time. I I was just amazed. And after that, my life didn't do too well. I was 4 to 6 years old, so I was an innocent boy. And after that, it was just, obstacles in my way, to be honest with you.
You started to get in a little bit of trouble after that. Well, some boys will be boys after 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
And, you're not the only one that kind of gets in trouble. And you really think it had something to do with this, that you kind of change your thought patterns on reality a little bit?
I think so. I think it was like, probably an attachment or something that was like, noticed my energy or noticed my soul and said, wait a minute, he's gonna do something different, that we need to get on him very quick.
Sure.
But my second point is
yes, go ahead.
First of all, I appreciate your show, Brothers, Cousins. Third Phase of Moon is absolutely great, and I appreciate the fact that you give people the opportunity to speak their heart and mind. But what I want to talk about is natural and organic soul. Technology is great, but it's not the most important thing in one's life. And what I'm trying to say is that we each have our souls, and that's the most important thing. And it's about going inward and reaching out to one's family out there, and knowing that one's beyond this universe, because everyone is its own source.
Sure, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Let me tell you, we're all gods. We're all gods. We all have the power to do what we want to do and make our own destiny, and that's a pretty powerful thing. Our own entity that we live in, our own consciousness, very powerful.
Yes, it is.
And it's incredible that callers like you that call in and share their stories on Third Phase Moon. I think we are the number one source for information coming in from the public real time. Let me tell you, don't be fooled. Third Phase of Moon is the source, and we are the most viewed. We're almost up to 200 million views, and that's a lot of information getting out just on YouTube alone. And it's quite amazing when people call in and share their stories. Let me tell you, it takes guts. And Matt, caller from the Bronx, appreciate it, and we're going to be looking forward to possibly more encounters from them, because sometimes UFOs, when you see them, they change your life. And in my opinion, for me, it changed my life to keep just an open mind on whatever is out there. Everything is possible. Everything is. Let's bring back F1. F1's here. I want to ask him, are you a flat Earth believer? Welcome back, F1.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, got stuff going. No, not a flat Earth believer.
No problem. Hey, F1. So it's been what do you think about that guy from Bronx? And it's just
he said something that resonated with me. It's very similar to what I believe as well, is that once you're kind of, whether you're chosen or it's something in your bloodline, it kind of changes the way that it does change your outlook and the way you go about things. But I also think that you have guides along the way that protect you and kind of steer you in a direction that you're supposed to go. And on the other hand, I also believe that there is a counterforce that also knows that you're capable and may be chosen to do great revelations to educate people and to change the way people think into a more natural way that we were supposed to think. And remember, I mean, come on, all the way back in the days of the Mayans and way before that, we were smarter than we are now as a group. That should tell you something about how we've been dumbed down.
Right,
What they teach our kids in school is a joke. They never bring up anything that are topics such as this, or even other topics like the Nephilims of the Ohio River Valley and things like this. So I think that, there's always been a force of good and evil, and I believe that are different types of star brothers with different types of backgrounds and objectives. And one thing that he said, like I said, is I've always felt since I was young, and you get more clues to the puzzle the longer you live, is that, you are changed, and your outlook on life and the way you treat situations is greatly different than the masses. And that's what my objective has always been. And sometimes you're very lonely because of it. But I could not be any other way than to be pure and be driven by what my contact was at a very young age, and always remains to be. And
sure thing.
He had some. He's finding more pieces to figure out who he is, but I think he's on the right path.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this: did you get to see this? I thought it was amazing when Mr. Bigelow himself, the owner of Bigelow Aerospace, and he spoke.
He was pressured into that. He was definitely pressured into where he is now.
And then he was asked by the reporter if he believed in UFOs, and he told the reporter that his parents had a UFO encounter. After that, he was fascinated about it. Apparently, he put in a lot of money in MUFON and pretty much infiltrated all the evidence that came in. And recently, he just said that he believes that there's UFOs and there's aliens here with all the evidence. So that's I thought that was kind of breaking news.
No, he's kept that. He hasn't had that attitude for the last 5 or 8 years. Ever since they basically put different no-no areas for humans to see in his control. They found a way to manipulate him and use them for their better good. I think maybe that is wearing off on him, and he's getting older, and it's just natural to always, like I said, it's hard once you've become part of experiencer or revealed or involved with star brothers and sisters, you will always go back to that no matter what. But remember, Bigelow was given certain institutions and factories, places where great amounts of super high technology and not of this earth technology is going on. And the reason why they gave it to him, we all know, is because there's a law that says you cannot cross into publicly owned domains, privately owned domains. That's why they put everything under Bigelow Aerospace.
Yeah, he's got the edge. And he's got a lot of money, and he's looking for answers. And I think he's actually found it. And what's kind of cool is that his parents saw the UFO and told him about it, which is kind of cool, that there's communication within a family. I remember our first encounter, our dad's witnessed a UFO, and he's witnessing it, and he had to wake us up. And then we went outside and witnessed it alongside our father and had a great experience. So it opened up the possibilities that we're not alone, and I believe that we're not alone. There's just so much evidence. And Mr. Bigelow, the billionaire himself, owner of Bigelow Aerospace, believes the same thing. So we're on the same track. Whether his agenda is to get it out to the public, I'm not sure. I know that's what Third Phase of Moon's agenda is. So that's F1. Maybe we're going to bring F1 back for some questions to some of the callers. So let's bring in some more callers. Let's bring in area code 619. You there?
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, that you?
Yeah, that's me. How's it going?
Hey, good, Kelly. Happy birthday, man.
Hey, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, right on. We're big news. We're coming up to Third Phase of Moon. We're going to bring our cameras, and we're going to be on location in Los Angeles for a whole month in July. So it's going to be really cool to meet a lot of people in person. F1, we're going to be shooting with F1. We're going to get his background, maybe some on-location shooting. Kelly, we look forward to meeting Kelly. And maybe you could get us on base and do some onboard filming on the Navy vessel. That'd be awesome. So that's in July, Kelly.
You know what, Blake? That would be awesome, and it'd actually be my
what?
Moving to Paxburg, Maryland here in actually in a month. I'm up here in Northern California right now for some training, but after the training, I have to head east to Maryland. So the wife's already on her way over. That's too bad.
Got it. Well, maybe next time. Let me ask you, Kelly, what about this flat Earth theory? Are you there's people talking about it. There's been a buzz on the internet. People are trying to figure things out through different ways of thought process, I guess. What do you think about it?
I'm not far from a flat earther believer or anything like that. I mean, I've watched some videos online on YouTube, and some of the guys there. One guy had some pretty good thoughts on it, but when you really think about it, to me, it's like I don't get these why they would say it was flat earther. Because at first when I was thinking when they were saying flat earth, to me it was like, so what are they saying? The flat is like the earth is a square or is it oblong shape or what? They want to see. I seen the one guy that was talking in the video. He's saying the earth is flat and it's round. So it's like a flat disc or like a plate or something, and then the sun moves around. There's too much evidence to prove that otherwise, because you you look at all the planets in our solar system, everything's round. You know what I mean? We can't be the only one. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with there's a possibility of something like that in another universe or something, but with our planet, I'm going to just have to say no with that, because all the evidence that we have was like gravity. I mean, if you was to put a pendulum and knocking over, like you see in museums, it just rotates and next you know it knocks over little plates or whatever. And one of the other ones they were trying to say was like, well, if an airplane can go so fast, it would like shoot into outer space. But that's not how it works. You got gravity. You have the reason why these aircraft have gyroscopes in there is for that same reason, so that they know where the horizon's at and everything else. But no, as for flat earther, there's no way in hell.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Kelly. I just, people are kind of fascinated by this, and obviously they think that the ISS footage, that we're not even in outer space, that it's all filmed in some kind of big, swimming pool. Well, if that's what people want to believe, that's kind of heavy duty. I could understand that maybe we didn't go to the moon. Let me tell you that the first Apollo missions look pretty sketchy. I could believe that. And that conspiracy may hold water. But people, we're up in outer space, and there's weird things visiting the ISS all the time. So let's get to facts. The flat Earth thing, show me some good evidence. Show me some really good evidence, because it takes a lot of evidence. The second coming of Christ, if that were to happen, now that would be quite amazing too. So you just never know. Let's see the evidence. Another thing too is like, I have a telescope for myself. It's like an 18-inch telescope, and I look through it all the time with like planets and stars and stuff like that. But I mean, look at all of them. You can just look at it. Just take a telescope, look at it. I mean, the thing's round. The planets they're circular. As Earth to be like that, there's no evidence for that. It's just it's pretty much unimaginably, deniably not happening. The flat Earth theory is probably gone, but that's the people get to decide, and I've made my decision. No big deal. People make yours own. So that's what's cool about Third Phase of Moon. Let's go to another caller, see if they got something new to share. 417, you're live, Third Phase. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
I'm calling from Missouri.
You're calling from where?
Missouri.
Hello. You're a little muffled.
You're a little muffled. Missouri.
Oh, there you go, Missouri. Can you clear things up on the audio? I'd be appreciative.
Okay, I'm sorry. You hear me good now?
Much better. Just speak up a little bit. So we're in Missouri. What's your name?
My name is Matt, and I was going to tell you about the event. One night, me and my friends were coon hunt.
Okay, hold on. Hold on a sec. I want to hear about the event, but I can't hear you. You got to get closer to the phone and speak up, please.
Okay, basically, can you hear me good?
Kind of. I'd sure like to hear you better.
Sorry about this thing, sir. It's my phone. I have to get a new phone anyway. But anyways, I was trying to tell you that basically me and my friends was coon hunting, and we seen looked like something blue moving quickly, but we got a good look of it, and then it just disappeared. Then we went back hunting, and then next thing you know, we seen another one. It was like 3 shooting, and then like a big bright light, and then disappeared.
First of all, what were you hunting for? Aliens?
No, we were hunting for coon.
Coon hunting?
Yes.
What's a coon?
Raccoon?
Oh, yeah, raccoons. Cool. So then you saw it seemed to be some kind of extraterrestrial activity, a blue light?
Yeah, 3 blue lights.
In the forest or
above the forest?
Did they move at all? Did they make any sound?
No.
Where did they go? What happened next?
What happened next was it kind of freaked us out, so we got out of there. I didn't know if they come back or not, but it's a pretty wicked thing, something like that. I've never seen UFOs, so I was scared we got out of there, so we didn't go get our dogs the next morning. But it's a pretty wicked thing, something like that.
What kind of gun do you hunt with?
It's light. It's just like a shotgun.
You hunt raccoons with shotguns?
No, I'm joking. Not really. I can't tell you that.
Okay, yeah, that's cool, man. There's a story right there. A man on a hunt with a shotgun going after coons. Witnesses 3 blue objects above the forest. Not bad, but I'm looking for, it's pretty good. Let's go to, let's see what we got here. We're going to bring in 518. 518. Did you call in?
Hi,
yeah.
Blake. Yeah, hey. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, thank you. It's nice to be back. It's always interesting to hear everybody's stories. Yeah, I have
Absolutely.
a story of abduction. It follows 2 stories that I told you when I first looked out the window at my home where I grew up and spotted a flying saucer. Told my boyfriend he didn't take it seriously. Told friends and they didn't take it seriously. Then my sister saw the same thing out of her bedroom window. We both took it seriously. And then weeks later, I was awakened by a really bright light. All of the things that are really typical with stories of abduction, I have to tell you about. I was awakened by a really bright light. I looked out the window in the bedroom I was in and just was really trying hard to see something, and I did see something, but it didn't look like a saucer. It looked more like a silent helicopter or something. And but I couldn't, but it wasn't a helicopter, so I didn't know what to call it. And then I remember frantically moving around the room, looking out windows, trying to see it from different windows so that the light wasn't shining right in my face. And then I just kind of stood next to my bed and was just freaking out, kind of screaming at the top of my lungs, Mom, Dad, Mom, Dad, and nobody was answering. And then I kind of had thoughts I could maybe hide in the closet or something, but something just told me, I could just feel it didn't matter what I did or where I went, it was like they were going to find me anyway. I just felt kind of trapped. So, anyway.
Yeah, almost it's almost like you don't have any place to hide. They could see right through everything.
Like I could, exactly. I just felt kind of on Star Trek when they're, talking about, there's life form here, and it just felt like they were kind of zeroed in on I was a life form and they were coming to get me. It was a really intense and really, I think, the most frightened I've ever been in my entire life. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And the first time I recalled the experience was for Whitley Strieber's book, Communion, because after I read through it really fast, at the end he asked for people to write him about their stories. So I wrote him and I told him everything. And, I come to find out.
Let me bring in F1. I think F1's got a question for you because, this is pretty interesting when you have people that share encounters. F1's had encounters. So I like when people that have these encounters, and they're not abductions, people might call them different things. There's definitely an encounter. F1, you got a question? Go ahead.
Well, no, one of the things, I'm a pretty critical person, but so I've really learned through working with you guys to kind of just back off a bit. And so now I just look for things out of the stories that people are and experiences people are relating to trying to look for something positive that sounds like it's familiar. And one of the things that this lady has said is that I can remember it like it happened yesterday. That's one of the most credible things that you will find in true experiencers, is that it never leaves you, and there's a reason for that. And you'll always go back and try to figure out what the circumstances were when it happened, and you'll find that the longer you live becomes a stronger knowledge that's exactly what happened, rather than growing weaker in possibility or probability. So that's one thing. When you said a couple things that are really it's from the heart, and the same thing I've experienced, and I could tell you, it's like you want to hide, and there's nowhere to hide. You wish you could snap your fingers and make yourself invisible, but there's a feeling that comes over you that says, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. And you kind of just feel disarmed. So that's one thing that I found that was very similar in what you were relating.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, to me it was just like I wanted to wake up, but I couldn't, and the next thing I knew, the door was swinging open and there was like a gold light around it. I thought my parents had put the hall light on, but no, these entities were much shorter than my parents, and my parents were short, but I knew right away. My mind told me, no, that's not Mom and Dad. And when they got up close, they were very reptilian looking. And, the first question that came to my mind, and I said it out loud because I didn't realize at that point that they would communicate with me telepathically, and they did. But the first thought that I said right out loud was, who are you? And I was horrified, and it came out of my mouth like I was going to cry my eyes out. I was just horrified because I'd never seen anything that looked like a walking lizard, and that's what I was confronted with. So my reality was shattered, and it was just really, like I felt like I was on like big time drugs, but it was real. And so, that's what happened. And then one of them walked around back of me, and I started, as they started to answer me, one of them started to answer me, I received a download of information that my mind couldn't handle. And it just knocked me out.
What was the message?
I can't remember, Blake, because there was so much information. There was just so much, a flood of information that came into my head about that my mind couldn't handle it. It was just so much information at once, and I really never really got the gist of it. It was almost as though it was just a whole bunch of stuff, and my brain couldn't handle the whole flood of information, and I just, as I passed out, I could feel like I saw like a long instrument, and he like put it on my head, and I don't remember feeling anything. I just remember passing out. And the next thing I knew, I was outside of our house in the backyard, and I was paralyzed.
What?
But I was...
Again.
Yes.
There's more people.
Yes.
2 callers. You're the second caller in tonight that's had this like an interdimensional jump from one place to another, dematerializing and materializing in another place within an instant. That's weird.
Well, yeah, it is, but I think that it's something that is quite, it's not unusual for this phenomenon for people to convey that.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that the word's getting out. The word's getting out. People are sharing their stories on Third Phase of Moon, and wow, the callers just keep calling in, and these callers are absolutely amazing. They're just giving us the information, and you just can't blame them. They need to get it out because we're not alone in this. We're all in it together. Let's get. We got a couple minutes left. We're gonna try and squeeze one more caller in. Let's get to it. 203. You're live. Third Phase of Moon.
Hi, are you talking to me, Mike?
Yeah, Mike. I guess that's you. You're on air. Third Phase of Moon.
How you doing, man? I love your channel. I love your channel.
Thank you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Connecticut. I wanted to tell you about a story that happened in the late 80s. I know you're running out of time, so I'll be quick.
Thank you. Go ahead. Thank you.
I was the last of 5 children living home with my parents at the time, and it was about 10 at night, and I was on my bed watching TV, had the shade down, and my mother was in her bedroom reading. My father was in the den reading, or actually watching TV. I heard, I'll imitate the sound. This is exactly what I heard. It went like this. Boom. I said, what the hell is that? I said to myself. And I looked, and the backyard lit up like it was daytime. The light, you know how you see in the movies they show the light coming through the sides of the shade? It was so bright out.
Wait a second. Mike, hold on. We can extend a couple more minutes. Do that sound effect again. People might have heard that before. Let's hear it again.
It was just a quick sound. It just, I don't know where it went. And that's it. And it caught my attention. I said, what the hell is that? So I looked, at my window, and the light was like screaming in through the sides of the shade. I was like, what the hell? And then the power went out. The house went dark. And I heard my mother and father say, what the hell is that? Everybody got up. And then within seconds, it was out of earshot. It was gone. The power came back on. So I don't know what exactly happened, but I'll tell you this. I've experienced.
Nice. That's like an impulse. It's an impulse shock wave. Something.
Is that what it is?
That's if the electric activity in your house or whatever. There's an impulse static charge that could pull that off.
Blake, believe it or not, that house was very haunted. We grew up in a haunted house. I had tons of paranormal experiences there. So it sounds almost like bizarre when I tell people these stories. They think you're nuts. But I figured, you know what, I'm going to call and share it. It was a long time ago, but sure. I often dream of aliens. I see them a lot, and I seem to remember them in my dreams. And they also tell me, in one particular dream, they speak through you telepathically, and they said to me, we are going to allow you to remember this time. So I remember standing, looking up. I could see the bottom of the ship, and I heard them say to me, "We will allow you to remember this incident." And I actually document. I write them down because I have a lot of vivid dreams about them, and I could actually feel the ship moving when I was on one of them. They were actually working on me on one of my knees. They had some kind of I wrote it all down like this piece of equipment to heal like my knee. I was having issues with my knee at the time. And my knee's like fine. So I don't know. I don't know if it's all in my mind, but I'm telling you, I dream of them a lot, and I seem to recognize them when I'm in that dream state. But like when I think about it now, I have no idea who they are. It's just so bizarre. Like your conscious state is separate from your unconscious state, and when you're in that sleep state, I seem to get a lot of information. But that one in particular with that UFO was in the late 80s, and I had a friend of mine that lived in a neighboring town called Wallingford. This is an amazing story. He was, every night he'd go jogging with his dog, and he said this one particular night the dog just stopped dead in its tracks. He said, Mike, I couldn't get that dog to move at all. So he said, and I actually let it off the leash, and he said the dog ran back home, and he said, I got kind of spooked. He said, but I continued to run. And he said, I'm running down through the path. I'm running down, and I see the church down there, and he goes, and in the parking lot behind her, it almost looked like they had a carnival going on. It was all lit up. And he said all of a sudden he sees something rising from behind the church, and this lady pulls up in her car, and she's screaming at him. She says, do you see that? Do you see that? And he says, oh, my God. It was this huge ship, he said. And he said it went above him. He said there was no sound, but he could feel it, and it was just stayed there for like 15 minutes. He says, I ran home. He goes, I was terrified. He goes, I got my mother and father. My father got his rifle, like as if that was going to do anything. He goes, and we watched it, and it stayed above the house, like in that area, for about 15 minutes, and then it just slowly just drifted away. It was really bizarre. So I wonder if it all tied in to that same night, like when it hit. I lived like 2 towns away in Naugatuck, and he lived in Wallingford. So it was just kind of an interesting story. And I got one more for you. My nephew worked out in Litchfield.
Wait, no. Gotta go. It's Mike. That's
okay.
amazing, though. Amazing show. And you know what? Call in next week. We'll get you first on the show because, man, I like the way you tell your stories, Mike. Appreciate you calling in, all right? Call in next week, all right?
What,
Gotta do it.
At midnight? Is that at midnight to call in?
Yeah. Starts about midnight, every night, midnight. Where are you calling from?
I live in Connecticut.
Connecticut? Yeah, I think it's midnight. And it's 9 p.m. Los Angeles time. So do it from there,
Okay.
Mike. Call us back. Appreciate it, man.
Okay,
Good.
well, talk to you next Friday. I love your show, by the way. The channel's awesome.
Thank you, sir. And keep on watching because you never know what's going to happen. People like you share it. We're the source for the new information coming in from the public as it goes. Man, thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
You know what? I got to thank everybody that chatted in tonight. And, it's been a cool night. It's been really cool. And I want to thank James B. Or let's go James Brunch and Lisa Walker. Wow, thanks, Lisa Walker. We got the Lost Uper and the Poseidon Roselle Mervon. Let's go, Poseidon. Thanks, Poseidon Roselli. Ronnie Durate. And we got Sebastian Dos Santos. We got the Spyroid. The Spyroid's here. Wow, that's cool. Tina Tomaszowski. I hope I got that right. And Dallas. Let's just go with Dallas. Thanks, Dallas. Good job. Thanks for tuning in to Third Phase of Moon. We're about tuning out. And, we'll give a comment to the Flycatch. And Granta Field 15, thank you so much for tuning in. Billy Hassel, Beyond Only Universe. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back next week, Friday. Be here. I will be. Third Phase of Moon, Blake Cousins, signing off.